Okay, I want you to don't even do anything. Just go straight to the comment section and say, is this something worth being concerned over? Or is this an absolute nothing burger? Because honestly, it took me an hour to actually sit in this chair. I know I'm standing now, but I was sitting down in this chair and thinking, man, is this worth making a video about? And then some of the wonderful members of Mike Mafia tagged me on Instagram, tagged me on Twitter, and usually that's kind of like my indicator when like 15 of you guys tag me in one topic, I'm like, okay, Mike Mafia wants me to make a video on this. So before we get to this content, we're giving away $500 to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel and another $500 to a follower on our Instagram. We're also gonna do a shorter version of this on TikTok if you wanna check us out there. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! This video is sponsored by Fetch Rewards. Fetch Rewards is an awesome application that allows you to earn rewards just from scanning your receipts. Anytime you make an online purchase or an in-person purchase, all you have to do is scan your receipt. You'll get points for those receipts, and those points can be redeemed for gift cards from Amazon and a bunch of other retailers. It's a great way to grind towards something that you wouldn't be able to typically afford by doing something that's fairly easy. And right now, when you use my promo code Mikerophone, you'll get 3,000 points when you scan your first receipt. That's promo code Mikerophone for 3,000 points instantly on your first receipt. And thank you, Fetch Rewards, for the sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? If there was one thing that I always assumed, it's that there was no better situation for Kyler Murray than the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, a lot of people forget this, but I remember it perfectly well because I'm a Josh Rosen stan. At least I was, because he went to UCLA. He's Jewish. I'm also Jewish. You could tell by the messed up noses that we both have. That Cliff Kingsbury was absolutely obsessed with Kyler Murray. I remember back then, and this was a horrible take, but I always own up to my bad takes. I thought that the Arizona Cardinals should have given Josh Rosen another year and drafted Nick Bosa. Cliff Kingsbury was absolutely obsessed with Kyler Murray, and I figured based upon that and how rapidly they built a contender around Kyler Murray that he was happy in Arizona. I mean, when you look at teams and how quickly they were able to turn it around, the Arizona Cardinals turned it around within 2 years. They drafted Kyler Murray in 2018. They traded for DeAndre Hopkins a year later. I mean, not even trade. It was a highway robbery, which was in our worst trades of the past decade list that we dropped recently. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want any other lists on this channel. But it was something that I figured was set in stone. I mean, a year later, they were able to get AJ Green and JJ Watt. They drafted Isaiah Simmons. They have Budda Baker. The offense is good. The defense is good. The offensive line could use some work, but for the most part, this team seemed to be set. The only thing that I could imagine Kyler Murray being a little annoyed about is the fact that, like Joe Burrow last year, Joe Burrow came out and said, hey, I want you to draft Jamar Chase with the 5th overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft. The Cincinnati Bengals obliged. Kyler Murray made a very similar request the year prior. He wanted the Arizona Cardinals to draft CeeDee Lamb with their 1st round pick, but instead they decided to select Isaiah Simmons. But the thought process there was, yo, why do you need CeeDee Lamb? You have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Christian Kirk. We don't need more wide receivers, which I kind of agreed with, but CeeDee Lamb turned out to be a beast and he already had that chemistry with Kyler Murray. The reason why I'm bringing all this up is this is something that is typically debated about, and it's the fact that Kyler Murray scrubbed his Instagram page of everything except 2 pictures. One picture being him and CeeDee Lamb at the Pro Bowl yesterday, and the other of him winning the Heisman with the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, this wouldn't be as big of a deal if he was only following like 5 or 10 people, like Giannis Antetokounmpo did this in the NBA, and he was only following like 10 people, so it wasn't as big of a deal, but he's following 461 people at this point. Now, according to Stephen Kriz, Kyler Murray isn't happy with the Arizona Cardinals. Before anyone asks, no, the Broncos should not pursue. Now, Stephen Kriz is just a Denver sports writer, so I don't necessarily know how legit he is in regards to being an insider, but here's the thing. Kyler Murray didn't only unfollow the Arizona Cardinals on Instagram, he unfollowed them on Twitter as well. And you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Well, if you go to his Twitter account, the man still follows Oklahoma football, he follows Oklahoma basketball, he follows Oklahoma baseball, hell, he even follows Duke basketball, he follows the NFL. So you have to admit that this was done intentionally. So it is something that we need to talk about. Now, I did some digging and I also saw that Christian Kirk's mom also tweeted out in regards to Kyler Murray. So someone named Keeper of the Real tweeted, "Really hope Christian Kirk gets free from Kyler Murray so he can show people that he's a good slot receiver." Melissa Kirk responded to this tweet saying amen, and I'm gonna admit this tweet kind of shocked me because Christian Kirk was targeted the second most in his entire career. His first most in his entire career was in 2019. He only had 709 receiving yards. This past year, he almost had 1,000 receiving yards when he got targeted significantly more once DeAndre Hopkins went down. There were games where he was targeted 12 times. His final game against the LA Rams, he was targeted 11 times. He only had 5 touchdowns, but for the most part, considering the amount of depth the Arizona Cardinals have in the receiving game, you have DeAndre Hopkins, you have the shell of AJ Green, you have Rondale Moore when they're trying to get him involved, which I'm assuming they're going to get him more involved in the future. Then you have Christian Kirk, you have Zach Ertz, and this is just all off the top of my head before you bring in Chase Edmonds and James Conner in the fold. They have a lot of weapons on that offense, so I'm pretty impressed by the fact that Christian Kirk was almost able to break 1,000 yards receiving. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, there may be something going down in Arizona. When a player scrubs his entire Instagram account, it's a pretty good indication that he's unhappy in that situation. Now, you might be saying, Mike, who cares? It's social media, but you also have to bear in mind that Julio Jones did the exact same thing before the Atlanta Falcons traded him. So this is something that is kind of concerning. We can't really make much out of this except speculate whether Kyler Murray is happy or unhappy. The only other thing I have in regards to this situation is Kyler Murray's temperament in terms of where the team is. This is what he said around the time of the Pro Bowl, saying, "I wouldn't get into too much detail, but we need to get better. I think there are a lot of things that we all need to address individually. Team-wise, we understand kind of what happened and how we get there. We've got to do it together. Obviously, everyone has to work hard individually. When we come together, we've got to be ready to go because it doesn't get any easier. We made strides throughout the 3 years I've been here, but we haven't reached that ultimate goal." Now, the thing that's interesting to me here is that doesn't really convey unhappiness to me. The only thing that slightly conveys unhappiness is Christian Kirk's mom responding to a tweet saying that he hopes that her son goes to a situation that he could succeed in, even though that entire tweet was a slight dig at Kyler Murray. So this is something we're going to keep an eye on, man, because for all you know, this could be absolutely nothing, but I'm kind of confident that it's something. So I would just like to begin keeping an eye on the situation and monitoring the Kyler Murray situation. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about all this? Could Kyler Murray be upset with the Arizona Cardinals so far? He's been an absolute baller so far in his career, improving each and every season thus far. He had an absurd 69% completion percentage this year, and he also was able to add 423 yards on the ground. I can't imagine anything else that would cause him to be upset. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.